Hey guys, today we're just going to do a quick tutorial on CSS animations using keyframes. Keyframes are percentages of the animation where you could change a CSS rule. For instance, you can go from bottom 0 to top 0, opacity 0 to opacity 1 within different keyframes in an animation. So we're going to make some custom animations today. Okay, so the first thing you should do is create a folder on your desktop, call it animation. And I'm going to put my folder over here so you guys can see it. So you're going to open your folder and we're going to create some new HTML documents. Okay. Let's see, where is it? And I'm going to save my Notepad++ document as index.css. I'm sorry, index.html. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is declare our doc type. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, and add our HTML. Okay, so I'm sorry, I got a little confused for a second. And then what we're going to do is we are going to link our CSS . Okay, so we're going to try to create our document. Let's make this bigger. Okay. So this is our basic HTML structure. And let's indent to show that this is our head, and anything that goes in it will be indented one more time. Okay, so link relevance equals style sheet type is our text./CSS, and href, we are going to make a CSS folder and call it index.css just like last time. Okay, and we are going to create a few divs. Let's div ID is main div. We're going to close it. Div ID equals second div, and let's close it. And we're going to close it. So we're going to have main div, second div, and third div. Okay, and we're going to indent all three of them. And we're going to give them each one space of break so we could see the separation. We have a nice neat document. Okay, so I'm going to save. Obviously, if I open my document now, nothing will come up. So let's create our folder. new called CSS, and we are going to create a new document. Where is it? I just have to do it through here and save as index.css. Okay, and now we have our basic structure for CSS and HTML. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we are going to style our main div. Actually, first we're going to define our body in HTML, which should be default for every document you make. We're going to set the height to 100%, width 100%, padding 0, margin 0, and that just gets rid of the margins in your HTML document. So we are going to style our main div. Okay, so we're going to have position absolute, top 0, left 0, height and width both 100%, and we're going to have a background color of blue just to make sure it's there, and we are going to see what we have. Okay, and as you see, we have a blue div that's 100% height and width of the screen. And what we're going to do is we are going to hide our second and third div. And we're going to display none, and we are going to copy these same rules and set them for our third div. Okay, so now we should have 3 divs, and one should be shown, which is our blue div, and this is where we're going to apply our animations. We're not going to use JavaScript triggers. We're just going to see what happens when we load the body, and then we'll get into how to dynamically change a class name of an element so it will trigger the animation. So we're going to add the class of animate. And we are going to create our CSS rules for our animation to dot animate. So let's make our dot animate, and we are going to create our CSS. Let me raise this up. Okay. The first thing you do when you have an animation, we have to give it an animation name. So animation dash name, and we're going to call it first for our first animation. The second thing we do is we set a duration. So we're going to say 10 seconds. The next thing we do is we have an option between easing and linear. Easing is it changes speeds depending on how you set it, and linear is it maintains the same speed throughout the entire animation. We're going to go over both, but for now let's put in easing because I want to show you how you could switch speeds of the animation throughout the entire animation. So let's call animation. And that's animation dash timing function ease. And the next thing we could set is the animation iteration count, which is how many times we want our animation to occur. So we only want it to occur once when we load the body. And animation direction. This is set when, okay, so animation direction, so say we apply an animation to fade with animation dash direction normal. After the animation is complete, it'll go back to its original state. So let's say I faded my blue div out. It will be blue again once the 10 seconds is up and it fades out. The other option is animation direction forward, which obviously will keep it faded out, and that's good for fading our divs in and out of view. And we could apply the classes with JavaScript, and after the animation is complete, it'll stay at opacity 0, so you can't see it at all. Okay, but for now, let's do normal to see what happens. And we have a couple more rules to apply. Again, you don't have to apply all these because some of these are defaults. Like animation direction normal is a default, but I just want to show you what you can do, and it's good to practice. And because most likely than not, you're going to want to set some custom stuff. So I'm going to just go through everything. Okay. The next thing we could do apply is animation delay. And I'm going to put 0, but you could, when, say, the body loads or you apply it with JavaScript, we could say, I want a 2-second delay, and it'll delay for 2 seconds, and then the animation will occur. But for now, we want it 0. Okay, and that's all we're going to do for now. There's a couple more advanced stuff we could do, which is animation play state, which stops the animation, but we're going to do that later on. Okay, so after we set some of these rules, I would say, for our animation, it's time to make our animation. How do we do that? We use keyframes. So all we have to do is call after your class that you're going to have an animation. We're going to say at keyframes. Okay. Now this is at keyframes first. Okay. So this is our animation. Now I'm going to go all out, and we're going to do 4 stops, which is 4 different points of the animation, which is going to be we're going to have 0%, okay, we're going to have 33%, 66%, and 100%. And that all gets wrapped in our keyframe rule. So just to clarify, make sure that you have your wrapping keyframe curly braces outside of all your percentages. Okay? So what we're going to do is at 0, we are going to have left 0, background color, let's do FFFFF, let's do 333. And at 33%, we're going to have left 10, let's do 100 pixels, width 100 pixels, let's do, and height 50 pixels. Okay, and okay, so as you can see, from 0 to 33% in our keyframe animation, it will go from left 0 to left 100 pixels, from width 50 to 100 pixels, and the same thing for height, and our background color is also going to change. Okay, so as you're going to see, it's going to move from the left side of the screen to the right, and it's going to expand as we go along. So I'm just going to copy and paste the same rules, and I'm just going to change it. Okay, so let's change them up. Oop. And we're going to do 150, 150, 150, and we're going to get lighter again. So that's F0, 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 and at 100%, we're going to keep the background color because otherwise it's going to be completely white. And we're going to change this to 200, 200, and 200. Okay. So we should, at the end of our animation in 10 seconds, be at left 200 pixels, width and height of 200, and a background color of F0, 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 which is almost white. Okay. So we're going to try this in a second. Make sure everything is okay. And we are going to do a few things. We're going to get rid of this background color. And let's get rid of our width and height. Let's make it 50 pix and 50 pix. Okay. And we are going... Okay, and I'm sorry, before we run our animation, let's add @webkit for everything. So you're going to do dash webkit dash. As you see here, we're going to copy it and we're going to apply it to all these animation rules. And otherwise, it won't work with WebKit browsers, or it might in some, but usually it has very quirky behavior if you don't. Also, our phones are all WebKit browsers. So we will just, for semantics sake, put dash webkit. Okay. So I'll give you a second. Let me make this a little bigger, and I think that's as big as it goes. Okay. So just fix it. Fix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. These 7 lines. Okay. And if you need a second, just pause it. So let's run our animation, see what happens. Okay. And as you can see, throughout the 10 seconds, it's easing into getting bigger and to the left, and it goes back to its original state. So let's try something. Let's try going forward. Let's see what happens. And see if it works. And it goes away. Okay. And it seems to have a semantic issue. Let's see the problem. Okay, and our sometimes our directions don't work, as I just actually had to read up on it again because I haven't done forward or alternate in a while. This says kind of buggy in browsers, so let's just stick to normal. Okay, so say we want to keep our state. What we're going to do is we are going to take what we have as our last rule, and we are going to apply it to our class here. Okay, so we're going to apply all these rules to our class, and we're going to go up and we're going to get rid of all our positioning in our ID. What happens is that IDs, all of their styles override a class's styles. Meaning, say I have main div and I kept left 0. Even if I apply left 200 to my class, this left of 0 and our ID will override that style, and you'll still have a left of 0. So if you plan on using transitions and animations to a div, what you're going to have to do is apply styles to the class it's going to have before you animate it, and then let the animation have the styles. Never apply styles that are going to change to the ID. It gets a little tricky, but with a little trial and error, you'll figure it out how to do it correctly. Otherwise, you're going to have quirky behavior, and what you expect to happen won't. Okay, so let's try and see what happens. Okay, see, I kept my left of 0 and it goes back to 0. So let's get rid of our left of 0 because, like I said, our ID overrides our left of 200 in our class. And let's see what happens now. And as you can see now, it stays. Okay, so that is our first lesson on keyframe animations. In our next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use JavaScript to trigger these animations dynamically. So otherwise, these animations apply every time you load the body, obviously, because they are just keyframe rules, and if you have to apply the class in the beginning, it will play the animation. So that's why we use JavaScript to change classes of an element to play these animations. Okay? Okay, so what I want you to do is just email me, or I'm sorry, I'm going to put an uploading area in Moodle and just upload this to Moodle. Thank you.